Alright, last I remember, went over Liz Stride and Catherine Eddowes murders. And I think the last one is, yes, I think the last one is Marianne Kelly. That's like the infamous one. I don't know what's going on at this time, but we're going to find out very swiftly. We're back at Baker Street. Are we doing some things?
Have you assembled all of our material, Watson?
I don't even know what you need. Oh, are we going outside again? I saw me reach for the hat. Oops, I didn't mean to open this. Wait, is that actually? Actually, I just want to see if there's any new notes. Mitre Square. Meter? I forgot how to say this already. Oh yeah, I definitely didn't read this. Okay. We're gonna start off strong. Start off strong with some some reading out loud. Alright, Mitre Square. Night of October 7th, 8th, 1888. Study into the murder of Catherine Eddowes. I like her name. She's got a satisfying name. Like, I like how it's spelled. I like how you say it. Maybe I'll get a cat and name it that. Watson and I barely took 20 minutes to get to this spot. If the killer left Dutfield's yard at around 1 o'clock in the morning, as we suppose, he would have found himself in the vicinity of Mitre Square around 1:20 a.m. Mitre? Meter. I forgot how he says it! We know that the body of Catherine Eddowes was discovered at 1:44 a.m. Catherine Eddowes was released from prison around 1 o'clock, but we have no information regarding what she might have been doing until her death. This place has 3 exits. Let's see where they lead. Mitre Square, where Watkins, the constable who discovered the body, was coming from. His rounds had him come to Mitre Square by this street. I hate this word. I hate it because I don't know how to say it. Inspect it rapidly and then leave by the same way. Because I don't think I'm saying it right. A narrow passage leads to St. James Place. This passage is particularly dark and obscured from view because of the location. The roofs of the warehouse create a bridge over the heads of the passerbys. Church Passage brings us opposite the Imperial Club at 16 to 17 Duke Street. Oh! Okay, before I continue reading this, I actually need to say this because I was watching my last playthrough, and you know that this game heavily deals with like the Jewish community during 1888, during the Jack the Ripper murders, and I've read about Jack the Ripper. I'm no Ripperologist, all right, that's a real thing, but I never came across that. I googled it without spoiling anything for myself, and this game is actually taken from like almost verbatim articles from that time. That was an actual thing. That was a actual thing that took place in history. So that's fascinating. Still very interesting because it's an interesting choice to pick that as like, oh, the plot of your game when you're dealing with Jack the Ripper. I don't know like what the motivation would be. I think it's interesting because I haven't heard any of it, and it still seems like, well, it's obviously based in like, I mean, during that time it would be based in anti-Semitism. That was what was happening. It's common, like I said, 1,000 times it's common to take an outsider group and trying to paint them as the villains like this. Okay, I just think it's interesting still to pit it as like the plot of your game when there's 1,000 different Jack the Ripper theories. But the most fascinating thing to me was how accurate the information was. Like the names and the places, it's all the same. So, I mean, it's interesting. I don't have a thesaurus right now, so I'm just keep using that word. But it's interesting to me to learn about this because, like, I never knew, and I've always been fascinated with this particular crime, like this time in history. So, like, learning about it is fascinating. But I don't know. That's as far as I have to say. Sorry if that wasn't coherent enough. But yeah, it's accurate. It's like it actually happened. It actually happened. Like all the scapegoating on all this. This is part of the investigation surrounding Jack the Ripper. Church Patches brings us opposite the Imperial Club at 16 to 17 Duke Street. It's there where Watson and I met Abraham and heard his valuable testimony. As we did previously for the murder of Liz Stride, we will proceed to reenact the events. At 1:30 a.m., P.C. Watkins enters Mitre Square. If if this constable did his rounds correctly, and there is no reason to believe that he didn't, as he would discover a body a quarter hour later, the murder hadn't happened yet, and there was nobody in Mitre Square, unless they were hidden in the shadows. Like, we investigated that. It is pitch black there. It is so hard to see. When Watson entered Mitre Square via Mitre Street, he noticed me immediately when I held myself in the exact spot of the murder. Thus we can be categorical. The murder had not yet happened at 1:30 in the morning. At 1:35 a.m., a man and woman are in discussion at the entrance of Church Passage. The entrance to Church Passage is but a few seconds from Mitre Square, a location notoriously frequented by prostitutes and their clients. The presence of a woman speaking with a man at this location and at this hour leaves little ambiguity about their respective intentions. It must be noted that the men who were exiting the club were facing towards Aldgate and that they saw the man full face. He must thus have come from Aldgate. Does this have any importance? Perhaps. I don't think it does. I don't think none of this is important. Taking into consideration the behavior of the man and the woman, we can deduce that the transaction was being negotiated and hadn't yet been finalized. In a few minutes afterwards, the body of a prostitute was found at the logical spot where such business would have taken place. Mr. Solomonovich. Oh my goodness. Mr. Solomanovich's friend identified the woman's clothing. The stature also seems to correspond. Too many similarities for it to be mere coincidence. I think we can base our thinking on the fact that the woman seen by this Joseph was Catherine Eddowes and the man was her murderer. I'm reading this with negative reading comprehension. I'm not in the right headspace to care at this time, but I'm sure some of these words are going to stick. Some of them, but it's not feeling like that. 1:35 to 1:42 a.m. We went over this anyways, right? So, the murder took place between 1:35 and 1:42 a.m., less than 7 minutes. Even less still if we count the trajectory between Duke Street to here and the arrival of P.C. Harvey during his rounds. At 1:42 a.m., P.C. Harvey arrived in Mitre Square. It should be noted that the constable didn't enter into Mitre Square, and that he must not have seen the corpse lying on the ground. But would he have been able to see a man sitting or standing? When Watson took his lantern and tried to see me from the church lands entrance, he advanced at least 15 feet into the square before seeing me, which P.C. Harvey didn't do. It is possible that the killer was still there at the time of his passing, and it wasn't until afterwards that he scarpered. This allowed him an extra minute to carry out his exactions before hearing P.C. Smith's boots and fleeing, but this is a mere detail. 1:44 a.m., the body is discovered. P.C. Smith called the watchman of Kearley and Tong, and, from that moment, the square was always under surveillance. Unlike Dupfield's yard, the killer had left before his arrival. Thus, our killer had no more than 7 or 8 minutes at most to kill the lady. I know, this is the most fascinating thing to me. 7 to 8 minutes to, desecrate her. I just feel like it's... Okay. At most to kill a lady. Open her up, empty her, remove a kidney, a uterus, a piece of intestines, check the state of her liver, and recreate her facial features and crotch. What? All of this in absolute darkness. Recreate her facial features and crotch. I don't remember that detail. I remember he removed parts of her face. Her nose, her eyelids, her cheeks, everything else. I know he sliced and diced her quite a bit, but I don't remember him recreate. I don't remember that part. Consider all the time this man lost, and the risk that he actually took by cutting the victim's face, and the lower abdomen in around 20 precise spots, especially the lungs and the liver. These attacks, which I consider gratuitous, are in fact nothing of the sort and have as much sense as the removal of the organs. They're not gratuitous? Is that what he's saying? What do you mean nothing of the sort? In inspecting the victim's body just now, we observed that a piece of apron was missing. It was found at 2:55 a.m., the night of the murder, by P.C. Alfred Long, who was certain that the object wasn't there at the time of his preceding patrol at 2:20 a.m. This bloody piece of apron was found in the entrance leading to the stairs of the Wentworth model dwellings at 108-119 Goldston Street, a few steps from there. It's there that Dr. Watson and I continued our investigation. To the right of the entrance, just above the apron, was the following inscription written in chalk. Yes, the following inscription. During the day, Goldston Street is a busy commercial street, or so how this is formatted. Just scroll to the top. Why are they making me do it this way? Or so they say, but at night it is of a sepulchral calmness, and it was raining that night, the night of the murder. I used to listen to, I still listen to, when I would listen to music, and an artist used a word I didn't know, I always would look it up. I'm really good about this. I don't have the time to do that right now, but this just made me think of this. AFI, especially their older stuff, more punky, traditional punk, not pop punk. They have a lot of great lyrics and a lot of words I never heard of in my life. And when I was younger, like a baby, I would Google them. And one word that I just remembered that I learned specifically from an AFI song was paradigm. I didn't know that word previously. I was a teenager. Okay. Anyways, During the investigation lead the night of the Dermal murder, what PC Halls inspected the entrances of the street around 2:20 a.m. and confirms having seen nothing abnormal. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, PC Long found the piece of apron as well as the message. If this message was written by the killer, it remained in the entrance 35 minutes at the most before being discovered. This message could not have withstood an entire night under rain because it certainly would have erased it or rendered it illegible. We've been in London for like a month or so. We haven't seen it rain one time. Thus, he wrote this at the moment when he dropped the piece of apron. This collaborates the testimony of PC Halls, who declared having seen neither one nor the other during his rounds. After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was causing it to fade. This explains why it was still legible just before it was erased at 5:30 in the morning. When my dear Watson met P.C. Smith, who was doing his rounds in Berners Street, the latter was in the middle of the street. Yet P.C. Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances. This isn't the case in a typical patrol. Even with the murder of Catherine Eddowes less than 8 minutes from here, nothing could have predicted that this piece of material would have been discovered the night of the murder by a constable on patrol. That's why the murderer who wrote the chalk message, it was, why? See, this is like, I do not see how I'm going to process this. Let me see how my brain is understanding this. I'm trying to figure out what point he's making. It's not super clear to me. Apologies if you're watching this. I'm gonna skip this because it's too much for me to be able to read one, also to figure out how to interpret it. But hopefully the time it's been on this screen, you can just pause it, you can see what it says. But I'm gonna skip this because I honestly, I'm like sensitive to this kind of stuff, and even if this took place in real time, like I just it's kind of like the same thing with I don't know how the same it is, but the feeling I'm getting, how I relate to this, is too many movies about times when people were enslaved. Do you know? I don't want to keep hearing about it over and over again, and I don't like people making money about this. Like, it's one thing to have a documentary, to have accurate history, but a lot of the same stories keep getting told, and who is that really benefiting? I don't want to go over this. I don't know why they picked this case to go over. I'm hoping at the end they tie it together to be like, no, and by the way, we completely exonerate this community, and they were falsely accused during this time period or something like that. Because otherwise, what is the point really? Who asked for this? I didn't ask for this. Okay? I'm moving on. I don't even know where I just scrolled up from. Where's my paragraph? This building where it was found shelters Jewish families who work in the various businesses in this commercial street, like the main houses around here. By dropping a piece of his last victim's apron here, the killer was certainly looking to incriminate the Jews living in this area. Right, where have you been, Sherlock? But this piece of material could easily have passed unnoticed by the police and been picked up the next day by one of the inhabitants who would certainly have made it disappear, voluntarily or involuntarily, the same as the message disintegrating the street's population. This is so dumb, because unless you're Sherlock, because I don't even think that police who are actually investigating this in game know about the pieces of apron missing. I don't know. I don't know. But how would anyone else know to be like, oh, let me get that piece of apron? That's gonna incriminate somebody because that lady was wearing that apron who died. Like, she had on 15 layers of clothes. How would they know it belonged to her? And she probably has on, no offense, like, to her, but she probably has on like generic clothing for the time because of her income. Like, you just wear whatever you can get. I don't know. I don't know how unique it is. I mean, it could be unique, but I'm sure there's fabrics specifically for people of a certain social class because that's what they're able to get in abundance, or just like whatever is readily available to them. Still, I mean, Victorian era stuff is, everything's handmade, so it could be unique. I'm not saying. All right, okay. This piece of material could have discriminating the street's population to ensure himself of the rapid discovery of this so-called proof and its eventual negative side effects against the Jews. The murderer wrote this message that was visible from the end of the road in order to draw the attention of the constable on patrol. The question why, which comes to mind, would also the question why, which comes to mind, would have also plagued the constable who, in walking around his lantern, could not have missed discovering the piece of apron. How big is this piece of apron? Do I not know what an apron is? Because I'm just thinking it's a piece of cloth. If I saw a piece of cloth in the middle of the road, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, that's got to be a clue. But Unless I knew. Like, it just seems so random to me. Because once you cut a piece of fabric off clothes, it's no longer clothes. How do you know where it came from? It could be bedding, could be curtains, could be anything. Now imagine a police procession bustling around this building with this insulting message and the rumor that a piece of apron from the last victim, who was disemboweled like an animal, was found in the stairwell. Okay, so there was a rumor about the apron. That's kind of, it seems so small in comparison to everything else that happened to her. Imagine the immense market crowd assembling and the anger growing as the details of this murder appear in the press. The author of this message would have found an echo to his strategy. Even worse, imagine that someone other than a police finds the message and the apron in the first hours of the morning and proclaims it through the quarter already shaken by the two recent murders or informs the press. Oh, that's okay. The author of this message would have found an echo to his strategy. Even worse, imagine that someone other than a police finds the message and the apron in the first hours of the morning and proclaims it through the quarter already shaken by the two recent murders or informs the press. There could have been a bloodbath in front of this building. Yeah, a riot. Whoever took the decision to erase this message is a wise man of great courage. What could these few words written in the chalk on the bricks have brought other than the meaning of the words that were written? Not much. And why choose exactly this entrance for dumping this piece of apron? There are synagogues, clubs, and Jewish businesses around. Why choose this building in particular? I don't know. Let's get the blueprints of the building. Let's go to the library and find the history of the building. I've always wanted to do that. In fact, I tried to do that when I moved into my first apartment. It was an older building, I think like built in the 20s or 30s or something like this. And I wanted to find more stuff about it, but I wasn't able to. What are we doing anyways in here, Sherlock? I just came in here on a whim. We're just wearing hats? Maybe it's raining outside. Why did I take that? Well, we got it. Alright.
We shall place our mannequins here, Watson.
I have no idea what we're doing.
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the three other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
I wasn't listening to you at all, Sherlock. Let's drink water. Kennedy, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. So you can help bring down my blood pressure. My God. Welcome, little girl. You think my hair is nice? Thank you, Kennedy. This is my protective style. It just reminded me I have to wash my hair. Death and destruction too. I'm so sorry. You know, I've grown to actually enjoy washing my hair. Not too much the braiding. I mean, even that is kind of nice because I'm just lazier about it now. I have a headache. Okay. Apply the... Oh, we're doing the heights of the killers? The killer. Because he's like 5'5". Apply the height, the age, and the clothing to the mannequins, basing yourself on the three correct witnesses. Sometimes I feel like there's like gaps in this game where I'm not okay. Height of the murderer. He's like 5'5", or so he's not tall. Now, Liz Stride was 5'5", and they're kind of like, they said that he's either slightly taller than her or the same height. Apply the height, the age, and the clothing to the mannequins. Who are these people? Age of the murderer? Like, what are we talking about? When did we establish his age? Am I losing it? Am I losing my mind? When did we establish his age? Never. Can I use this as proof? I know I can use this as proof. Maybe I can use this as proof too. What other document would ever help me find how old? Oh, this is. I am not. Why did I pick this game? Because I play in the order I'm supposed to. I don't know if I should have picked Assassin's Creed. Honestly, that's the level of intelligence I have brought in here tonight. Okay, so it has to be a. Oops. Oh, look at this. Okay, wait. It has to be a document. What is this? Edo's piece of apron was found in Golston Street near the message accusing the Jews. The Whitechapel killer left a message accusing... Yeah, same thing. So, we can conclude, Jack the Ripper wants to accuse someone who lives in Golston Street. Jack the Ripper has a score to settle. Jack the Ripper wants to put the police on the right track. I don't like how this is worded, but it seems like he's going after the entire community. And I'm correct. And I'm correct. Okay. Anything else we missed? What's this? The murder was... Okay, wait. The murderer searched Chapman. The murderer searched Eddowes. Oh. The murderer was looking for money or objects of value. The murderer was looking for something that the victim stole from him. The murderer was setting up a ritual. This is red. This is correct. He's not stealing from them. The Whitechapel killer is poor. Captain Edo's murderer is a fetishist. I mean, you could argue that. The Whitechapel killer collects trophies. He does. Why is this red? Why is this red? It shouldn't be red. It should be green. Okay, he's looking for money or objects of value. He doesn't collect trophies. He's poor. That's the conclusion. Some of these things, I don't know why they upset me. I don't know why. Okay. Annie Chapman was holding an envelope in her hand. Eddowes held a thimble in her hand. Jack the Ripper offered a gift to eat. No. Jack the Ripper diverted the attention of his victims before killing them. Yeah, I think it was this, right? He diverted their attention so that he could slice them. The Whitechapel killer proceeded in the same way. Wait, are we the way he's phrasing this, is he assuming that the Whitechapel killer and Jack the Ripper are not the same person? Why is he wording it like this? And I don't think he's ever even called him Jack the Ripper before. The Whitechapel killer must have been accompanied. Maybe that's a typo. The Whitechapel killer extorted his victims. Must have been coming. Okay, what's this? He proceeded in the same way. It is not the same man who killed P. Nichols and Annie Chapman. It is the same man. The Whitechapel killer has an accomplice. It's the same guy. Alright, and then the last thing is the Whitechapel killer had the time to kill L. Stride and Catherine Eddowes. You see my haiku? I am not feeling it. I'm telling you, even the last one before that, they were pretty anti-humanity right now, I gotta say. Nobody did anything to me. That's just how I feel. Sometimes you wake up like that. The Whitechapel killer had the time to kill L. Stride and Catherine Eddowes. He didn't really have that on one of them. It's the same man who killed L. Stride and yeah, Jack the Ripper has an accomplice. It's the same man. Why is it red? Oh, I haven't even clicked anything yet. Why is it red? Jack the Ripper possesses great physical force. Jack the Ripper is a corpulent man. Jack the Ripper is a tall man. I don't know what the word corpulent is. Let's see, great physical force. Yeah. Okay. I need to find a third document that can help me find this man's age. I guess you could assume, what I learned about serial killers is that it's actually very rare for serial killers to kill outside of their age. They're just their demographic, like race and age. It's rare. So maybe we have to guess his age compared on Eddowes and Liz's age. You know? Like this. Like, oh, we'll know how old he is because of these two ladies. No, but what is the last thing I can use? This wouldn't make any sense to use. But they let me. I can't use tumble teas. Oh, maybe I do have to use that. Cause wait, or maybe no, I don't have to. I can click this out. We don't know how old Tumble Tea is. We just know he's a man. None of these be like, oh, I love you, you short king. Like none of these love letters say anything like that. I do, man. It's cool to not know things, but I don't really enjoy feeling dumb. I'm not gonna call myself dumb. The idea that Jack the Ripper is 5'5" or below, I like that. I like that. It makes sense to me. He would be like, I don't know what I'm saying. He imagine if he's tall, he probably would have been caught. It's really easy to actually like disappear when you're small. It really is. Like if you're too short, then people will notice you. But if you're like average short, I feel like 5'5" is like average short. So you kind of blend in. You blend in. And you get away with all your murders. That's all I'm saying. Now I need a dialogue. Which one should I use? Alright, let me just start with these two and see like what I can work out. Note on the murder of Liz Stride. Age of the murderer? I hate how we're doing this. Okay, this is Liz Stride. Liz Stride is 45 years old and she's 5'5". Oh, you know what? I gotta look at that dialogue because one of the guys we talked to on the street, Abraham, he was like, oh, he's only a few inches taller or something. Didn't he say this? Look, I don't like going home alone. Dad just says not quite. Okay. Oh, look at this! Solid language. Oh, let me use this as proof. Hey, perfect. Abraham was talking about the man must have been 30 years old, about 5'7", light complexion, and a fair mustache. We don't need that. About 5'7". Okay, 30 years old. It's actually really hard these days to tell how old somebody is. Super duper. Okay, so according to, oh, this is also the only one I got correctly in terms of documents because it's green. He must have been about 30 years old. Now we're thinking. Now we're thinking. I thank you, Kennedy, because I was drifting off into the netherworld. Okay,
There
five
is an
seven.
error, Watson.
What?
Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
Not him telling me there's an error. We're close. We're close though, Sherlock. The man must have been 30 years old, about 5'7". Okay. About. So 5'6". Well, he only saw her from behind. He had her hand on, she had her hand on his stomach. She pushed him, all that. Joseph, look, I don't like the one of the three might, okay. If a stone throws, let me play with this. 5'6". I mean, what is he gonna say anything? Does he need to be wearing a hat? Kind of confused here. Can we move this mannequin? What is going on? Actually, hold on. There was another hat I saw on the wall. I don't know what it matters, but we could grab it. So I'm just gonna take it. Sherlock, this is so much. Is that a harpoon? Interesting. Let me see if there's anything else in this apartment I can look at or need. I can go into the bedroom. I don't think I need anything else. Let me just check. Okay, look at, we got. All right, we're playing dress up. We're playing like dolls, like Polly Pocket. Oh, we're gonna get a toupee. Oh wow, we're really doing this. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what this man looks like. I get you, Sherlock. I get you with no instructions. I get you. Why are we opening this door? There's nothing in there. That's not a door. That's a drawer. Oh my gosh, we can really dress him up. This is just perfect for the Barbie movie. Just in time. Just in time. We're always on brand, aren't we? Okay, we have the. This is why it's not even my fault. Like the game will just throw you in a puzzle without you even having everything you need. That's okay though because I'm using my intuition, not my brain. Oh my gosh, I forget that Sherlock keeps a piece on him.
A wig. This will come in handy.
We have literally just collected 3 wigs and he's just saying that now. I need to find probably one more mannequin then. Because we have 3 eyewitnesses. Can we use as the 3rd body, Sherlock? Oh wait, let me go in Watson's room. Watson probably has one. I can't go in here? Oh yes I can. Everybody has to have a mannequin on them. That's what I'm talking about. What else we got? I'm personally, this is like an irrational phobia. I don't like dress forms. That's why I don't use them at all for my business. I never have. Because it's not that it's scary to look at. It's at night. If it's at night. If I see the shape of a humanoid figure, I'll tell you something about me. I'm a spiritual person. And I don't want to give anything invitation to my house. And if I think that a dress form could be something else, I think it could be real. So I'd rather just not have them here. Like dolls. Dolls are not welcome in my house either. Nothing with human body structure, eyes, nothing like this. Can't be here. We got our 3 bodies though. Looking good. I do think they're useful if you're making clothes, honestly, but it's not for me. We're gonna have to suffer. Closets must have doors, no exceptions. Also this, which is so funny because I'm literally sitting in a closet with no doors. But you couldn't really tell. You couldn't really tell like how it's set up. You wouldn't know. So that's good. I don't like hallways. You know this? No hallways either. And I'm starting to lose interest in having rooms. Like I'm thinking I should move into a giant studio because I don't like not knowing what's over in another room. This place is fine. This place is actually set up really airy because there's no hallways here. So everything's kind of connected, but I would never move into an apartment with a hallway. I don't care how perfect it was. If it has a hallway, it's not perfect. We gotta dress this man up. Look how many wigs I have. Look how many combinations. All right, we're really getting somewhere. Now, Abraham told me, he said, my man, he said that 30, 5'7", light, light complexion, fair mustache, which is probably gray or blonde. That's what that usually means. He wore a loose, dark jacket. It makes me think of the Cake song. How's that song? Long hair, long coat, and a long jacket. Do you know that song? And a long jacket. That song? Okay. He wore a loose, dark jacket, a gray cap, and a red scarf around his neck. Who would wear red to a murder? So, he had a fair complexion. Wait, he said complexion? Or, because complexion is skin. Did he say have a fair mustache? Okay. Light complexion, fair mustache, loose, dark jacket, gray coat. I need to find a red scarf. My memory is trash right now. We don't even have... Oh, this is the gray hat. I think he needs it. Wait, loose, dark jacket. Costume? Worker's disguise. I need a red scarf. I gotta make sure it's a gray cap. Gray cap, dark jacket, red scarf. Oh, we need a red scarf, Sherlock. This is so funny too. Like, this is so useless to me. Because we don't have witnesses. Do we? Do we even have witnesses to come and be like, hey, which mannequin looks like the outfit of Jack the Ripper? Why are we doing this? It's fun though, I'm not gonna complain. I need a red scarpet. That's not even a word. I just said that. If it is a word, that's interesting, but it's not. Can I tell you something? Why I said that? Do you know the song? Do you know the song You're So Vain by Carly Simon? Only until recently, because I usually don't ever look up lyrics. But like, I mean I do, but hardly ever. But I just sing how it sounds. And when she says, your scarf, it was apricot, or something like this. Like saying your scarf was apricot, like it's the color apricot. I thought she was saying, your scarpet was apricot, or something like this. Your scarpet. I kind of gotta stop talking. But that's what it sounded like. I was like, oh, what's a scarpet? I thought like, I was like, oh, that's gotta be like a rich person's, like, oh, that must be like a fancy little like handkerchief type of scarf. I thought that was a type of scarf, and so I saw the lyrics. It's so stupid. I gotta stop saying that. It's not stupid. I gotta find another word. I gotta find another word. I guess I could just say it's funny. It's funny to me. It's funny because it's dumb though. But that's not... I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that attitude. We're gonna change that. It's not funny because it's dumb. It's funny because it's funny. Now, where can I find a red scarf? It was funny because fun. It was funny. I wonder if I can use this red twine. Oh, look at this! No? We can't use this? This is like that thing we got from when we find those people doing those fake seances. That like Masonic I can't... The Masonic... It was kind of like Freemasonry. That, you know... Points in the screen like you can see me. That necklace. The geometric necklace. These are all the things that we've been using. How adorable. We need a... Oh, no. God, something's in my eye right now. My goodness, if I was Sherlock, I would have migraines every day, all the brain work is too much. Yeah. You know, that's why he plays violin and, you know, tries to find time to relax, because he handles some really stressful stuff. Him and Watson. Watson writes. Watson's a writer. That's how he gets out his feelings. One of you needs to tell me where I can get maybe I can get one off the street from a vendor. Can I be back?
I have no reason to go that way.
Oh, what? How are we gonna find the red scarf? Oh, we must need one. Alright, let's keep investigating. Because that was like... I feel like that was an important clue. Gosh, he talks so much that it's so easy to... 30, 5'7", light complexion, fair mustache. Okay. He wore a loose, dark jacket, a gray cap, and a red scarf. Red scarf. But he said they only saw him for a brief instant, and it would be impossible to recognize him. Why are we doing this? Hand on his stomach. He said that he remembered that she was small, was wearing a black jacket. Okay, that's what she looked like. I feel like the only thing we're missing is the... Oh, maybe it's this.
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
There is an error? Sherlock. The only error is that we don't have a red scarf. Dark jacket. It could be this. I don't know how to know which one's looser. Oh, this is kind of loose. This is kind of loose. What do you think now, Sherlock? Tell me.
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
I'm thinking it's this jacket, though. I'm thinking it's this jacket because it is looser. But, okay, these are also not the correct documents. I feel like they would be green if they were. So maybe these have to be witness testimonies. All right, who else saw him? Okay, so as for one of the murderers, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the three other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man. Do you remember whom these would be? Okay, this is a hint. We have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man. Just one? Why do we have 3 mannequins? Okay, wait. Yes, we're gonna need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins. My 3 full wigs, one of your Warna, one of your old suits. Okay. Oh, and my deer stalker. That's a hat. That's a hat. The one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night. That's cute. That's like his. That's not like this typical Sherlock imagery. Inaccurate count. Its value. We can discover. I missed an episode of your Adventures, Holmes, and I've heard that. Oh, what? At least one person who saw him, which is this guy. We're already using his testimony. Okay. An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why. To what extent the truth must be written. Got you. I understand that. Okay. We've learned a great many things tonight. And I am able to tell you what our man looks like. Really? Yes. And we're going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins. My worker's costume. My 3 full wigs. One of your worn garments. Yes. That can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deer stalker. So, as for one of the murderers, we have no witness. So, for one of the murderers, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the other 3 we have at least one person. Okay, I'm starting to understand. Woo, why did that take so long? For the 3 other murders, there's at least one person who's seen them. So in each of those cases, it's a different person. I need to go and remember who those other 3 are. Dutfield, did you see her? Okay, I only saw him from behind, really? Ah, I love you, PC Smith. Okay, and who else saw? We're going too fast. Dutfield's yard. Did you see? This is the reporter. I don't think he saw. Do not read the papers. Finish later arguing. She follows balls a bit, but at the same time, another book. This looks like witnesses, but nobody's describing it. Nobody's describing what they saw. He's like, he put his hand on my thigh. Oh, this is the barman. This guy's a racist. Let's see. One thing, drowning. Okay. Let's see. Did this man say anything? This is the guy who sells cat meat, isn't it? Who else saw something? Don't be shy now. We know the doctor didn't see anything. Where's the slaughterhouse? Investigation continues. Finley's boarding house. Squibby's statement. Didn't Squibby see something? Yeah, well, Squibby knows who the guy is, but did he describe his physical appearance? Tumble tea. Bottle I just vomited. He called them Peckmans. Okay, I don't want to talk. We just need one more person who saw. It's too many witnesses. There's too many people we talk to. This is real life. Because if you're a detective, you have to go through papers and statements and testimonies and photos, and you have to revisit locations. Like, it never ends. You have to put all these puzzle pieces together. I can't believe I used to want to do this. I guess it'd be fun if I wasn't doing this, like, if I was, like, really doing this. It was my job, and I'm just playing a game. This game stresses me. I want to be doing it in a smooth manner, but, alright, there's no rush. I don't have nothing to do. I do have stuff to do, but I don't have nothing to do. Okay, I can take my time. I just feel like it's gonna be, like, let me go back. I'm not sure if it's gonna be one of the earlier murders we did. We talked to so many people since then. This is correct. So, we just need one more person who's seen the guy. It would be so much easier if I could find. Let me start from the beginning. Oh, This man is a witness to the horrid affair. The murder. Okay. Which one? This man, Mr. Richardson. You. Mr. Richardson? Oh, it was a zoo. 4:45, I swear. You're a witness! But did you see anything that can help us? Me and my old mom. Did send a bit of a photo about the time. Okay. The mom who lives at the house where the body was found at the back of the garden. Alright. Did you see anything? Oh, so he was like a witness to nothing? Is that what you're telling me? A witness? Oh, wait. Tumbletee's a man. Oh, Tumbletee's a man of 5'7". Okay, that's got to be the last one. It's not? Because look, it says, Tumbletee's a man around 5'11"? Oh, maybe it can't be Tumbletee then, maybe. Because these they're describing a shorter guy. And he's 55? Extravagantly dressed and with a rather distinctive voice, he boys at Finley's. Okay, it's not him. Oh, that's an interesting detail. Richardson didn't see a thing that could help us. Part of this makes me miss being in college. I'm not gonna lie to you. School was like always kind of gave me anxiety, but I was such a great student. I'm not gonna lie to you. Great. I loved the school so much. I would have went for free, like just on my own time. If you could just go to campus, I would be in classes 24/7, crocheting and minding my own business. I love learning. You know, I love proofreading. That's the best way to read books, honestly. You know, I mean, some books you gotta read verbatim, but I'm not proofreading. Let me be clear. I'm not gonna proofread a book that I am reading, but if it's for an assignment, I will proofread that to death. I can't remember the last time I read a full book for school or bought a book. I was really good about getting my books for free, by any means necessary, and I encourage all college students to try to do that, especially if you're like, check out the library. You'd be surprised how many books that you can just get at the library. You know what I mean? All right, okay, and not just the school library. Shop around libraries in your district, right? That's what I did. They saved me a lot of money. Especially, I think my last straw was when I bought a math book or something. What was I taking math? Was I taking a math? I don't know what class it was. I bought a book for school, and it cost me like $100 and something, and I put it on top of my car and drove away. And that book was never seen again. I had to buy the same book twice, and after that, I was pretty much done with school mentally. So I can't believe I did that. I used to do stuff like that all the time. I'm not as absent-minded as I used to be. Who's John Watson? Oh, that's... What? Watson's name is John? That's cute. I didn't know that. Who's John Watson? Wait, a colleague of mine took down their statements on paper, but on deciding they were little, he tore them up and threw them in the bin. Oh, wait. Wait. There are two... Wait. Oh, wait. Wait. We might have fallen upon something here. Annie Chapman is the doctor... Wait, is a weird... You're... Okay. There's no testimony given by it. Doesn't match the time. Okay, blah. Well, two other witnesses summoned at the blah gave testimony, but in the times... I didn't... Do you think it could be on these testimonies that were thrown apart? What date was that? I hope it was September 11th, 12th? The ripped trash testimony? Hopefully, that we had to put back together. I remember this, but I don't remember exactly how long. Crumpled letter? No, it's not that. Do you have a description? A physical description? Clears the woman in front of the hamburger noticed Anne Chapman. Okay. The man seen with the victim is scribed. That's got to be it. Sherlock, if that's not it.
Bravo, Watson. There are our three witnesses.
That took me absolutely too long. I mean, I'm not going to say that the nice violin in the background, the fireplace wasn't mellowing me out a bit, making me a less intense researcher, but that took way too long. Way too long. Smart game making me go that far back in time to find a witness testimony so realistic. To all of the like I said, all the detectives out there in the world, kudos to you that do good jobs and actually care about your care about your whatever you're doing, care about finding your answers. Kudos to those detectives. We're gonna skip over this man because he said I'm missing something, which is the red scarf. It's gotta be that I don't have. He didn't say anything about finding one though when I was reading his dialogue. All right, let's move on. Testimony of E. Long. He said, this man's 40 years old, at least. He said, Height, a little taller than the woman with whom he was discussing. Approximately 5 feet 3 inches. Clothing, brown deerstalker hat. Dark coat, but he's not sure. General appearance, dark hair and mustache. Dark face. Looks like a foreigner. Now, dark hair and mustache. Deerstalker hat. He said he's 5'3". Okay. And the coat's dark, but he's not super sure. Yes, I have two tongues. I have two tongues. I have one tongue that's bifurcated. Yes. My pride and joy. My favorite body modification. When I got when I was 19. A baby. Thousands of years ago. Yeah. I put it in my notes because it does come out in my notes. It wasn't my about me section. Because it comes out and it's like a little about me. You know. Just in case people are like, what the heck is that? That is my body part. I know, I don't think most people notice, you know. Not anymore. I mean, I don't know. I don't talk to anyone. So I don't talk to people to notice. But I forget I have it just because it's so old. It's so old. Oh, wait, we don't know this. Oh, he's about 40. How do you like that, Sherlock? He's not saying, good job, Watson. He's not saying anything, so we're going to move on. Okay, he saw him from behind. He was wearing a short black outfit. Okay, so that's this. We already know that this coat's going to go on the other guy. A small felt hat, like a cap, in a dark color, and a white collar. We still need a white collar and a red scarf. He seemed to be in a respectable type. He was carrying a packet in his hand. Blah. Did he say how old he was? No, I only saw him from behind. I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28 or even less. This is really interesting, the witness descriptions, because Tumbledee's been our main #1 suspect this entire time. He literally had an entire suitcase of uteruses and glass jars in his like little room he was staying in. But they said that Tumbledee is 5'11", and they said that he is around 55 years old. So I know that eyewitness testimonies are actually not very accurate, and they say that they say they're not accurate, but 55, and then at least two people are saying that this guy's around 30, and they're saying he's 5'7" and below. 5'3", I'm telling you, that doesn't look anything like 5'11". It doesn't. They're saying 30 or even less, say 28 or even less, 26, and 5'8" at the very most. He had a small, dark brown mustache and an olive complexion, I would say. 5'8". Okay, first of all, they said he had a black jacket on, so I'm gonna need that. You can have this.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
What's the next step? Chill out, man. You scared me. He said he had dark hair, right? Yeah, a redhead, he would have said that. Okay, he's got dark hair, and they said this man is 5'8", and could have been, he said, like, probably like 26 years old. Sherlock doesn't understand that we're missing a scarf and a white collar, and that's not even an option. Like, is it in our inventory? I just have this cap and this wig. That's so funny to me. What does he expect me to do about those missing details? I don't think we're supposed to... Are we supposed to change the color of this mannequin's skin? I don't think we're supposed to do that. Oh wait, I forgot the cap.
There we are. Magnificent.
So what are we missing with this guy? What are we missing with him? So he doesn't care about the white collar then. Alright, so we're off here. He said about 5'7".
There is an error, Watson.
What are we missing? 5'7", 30 years old. Is this not the right loose... This looks like a loose jacket to me. We could try. No, he already said this. He already said this is correct. Why do we have 3 blonde wigs options? Can't be ginger hair. No. Sherlock. As for Joseph, even though he was the one who commented on them and pointed them out, said that he couldn't remember anything except that the man was about 3 inches taller than the woman, who was 5 feet tall. What a small detail I could have missed. So...
There we are. Magnificent.
That was
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5'7" tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5'3". Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them. As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to that because I'm the best gamer on the world. I'm just gonna go and read what he said because I wasn't listening. But it's interesting to me. That was fun. That was a fun puzzle. Now hold on a second. What did he say? Okay. Oh, so P.C. Smith must have been mistaken about his height, right? Because everybody else is saying he's short. The age is starting to match up a bit. So we have to just change this to 5'3". You could have did this yourself, dude. He really make Watson do absolutely everything.
Bravo, Watson. Our mannequins have been recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair. Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other two witnesses, in the darkness of night, with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson.
You've got it, Sherlock. I'll put out the light. Which light? There's several lights in here. Put out the light. Oh, cute. Look at this light switch.
Thus, poor lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours.
Yes.
The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other two. The three testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all three mannequins. Turn on the light, Watson.
So he's saying, look at this man. Hold on, let me save the game, Sherlock, where things go to. He's saying that, so like they're probably most likely like all have dark hair. Is that what you're saying, Watson? I mean, Sherlock? Is that what you're saying? Please tell me that's what you're saying. No? I mean, in that case, yes. When the sun goes down, everybody could have any color hair. Is that what you're saying, Sherlock? Why is this over here? Okay. Oops. Give me this.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson. With regards to the murderer's hair, the three witnesses should agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event.
Yeah.
This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone in full light and for a period of several hours, to what extent can you determine their exact age?
It's very difficult.
And even more so if you observe them for only a few seconds and or from behind. We must allow some flexibility when considering our witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Odd man out. Tolerance of years. Okay. Determine the age range thanks to the tolerance of years indicated by Sherlock. Are you kidding me right now? 16 is crazy too young. What is this? What is this game? Oh, what? What is
For
this?
Smith's mannequin, let's allow a margin of 7 to 10 years. He only saw the man from afar in the obscurity. Smith's mannequin, a margin of 7 to 10 years.
Okay, what? Why do we need multiple one of these? Okay, he also said 28, right? So, margin of 7 to 10 years. Would that be right? No? What is this, dude? He said, how are we getting 36? I'm not the man for this job. That's not me. I'm not him. Why do I have to do this, and why for so many of them? I don't understand this.
Don't forget that, according to Abraham, the man was seen face on from a few feet away by the first Joseph, who shouldn't be out by more than a few years. For Abraham's mannequin, we should allow a margin of 3 to 5 years.
Yes, but what age do I start at? Jack the Ripper's 10 years old. I don't know what age to even begin at. There's so many options. Okay, I guess that. I guess that. So, I'm doing the averages.
Perfect, Watson.
I hate this game right now. If you ever make me do stuff with numbers like this, I'll block you. Look at her, we're so smart. Such a smart investigator. I'm not guessing at all. Almost had war
Perfect,
flashbacks
Watson.
from having to do that, the Civil War thing. Ridiculous. Worst experience of my life. Oh, I kind of understand now. So like 10 years from 26 and 27 and 28 and all that. I kind of understand. I'm not saying I completely understand, but I kind of do. It wasn't so bad, I guess. Except for...
Perfect, Watson.
Yes,
tend
I
to.
have, Holmes.
Now that we
Yes.
have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Oh, I wasn't listening. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's wrong with me. It just does my brain. Determine the age of the murderer thanks to the age range and apply it to the mannequins. Did he say to use the average? What did he say? Do I need a calculator? Should never need a calculator for play a game. Ever. Okay. I want to do it on my own. I know I can just do what I was just doing, but I want to see if I can figure this out. The average age? Oh, I can't do this. Not saying I can't. I just feel like it's going to take too long for me personally. I'm not the one. It's not me. It's not who I am. I feel like the average age is like... Probably like... Wait, what did he say? What did he say to do? What did he say? It wouldn't be 50. Oh, I wonder if we have to get them all right. What did he say to do? What did you say, Sherlock?
Smith's mannequin, a
What did you say?
Now that we have fully considered the
Okay.
witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Oh, I better not have to do that again. Okay. But there's a second part to this that I wasn't listening to. I'm just doing the averages real quick. And I think that's what he said to do. Okay, I think this is 8. It's still gonna be 18. 26. Yeah. It's gotta be. Can't be anything. So maybe when it's all done, he'll be like, it's correct, and he'll light them all up because he's not doing it now, which is giving me red flags. But we'll see. 40. Wasn't it already this? Wasn't it already? Just because I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said because I wasn't listening. This is like, hey man, I was so bad. I'm not even gonna act like. First of all, these are all the averages. So what's wrong here? I don't know what the step was because I wasn't
For
listening.
Long's mannequin, the margin of error.
I know that
For
part.
Abraham's mannequin,
But what's the next part? I was a terrible math student. I took algebra like 3 times. It's just like, it doesn't matter if I can do it. How my brain is like, it doesn't want to. It will not. It will not try. It hates it. You know? So that's just like, I'm not like that. I don't like math. I don't like it like this. I respect numbers, but not in the way that you would ever be thinking. He said something about the averages. These are the averages. These are the averages. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what he said. I'm gonna look it up. I don't have no shame about it. I already taken so long on this section, but I'm not gonna be mad at me. I'm not gonna be mad at myself. Oh, we had to do the averages of all 3. Good. But good. Congratulations to that. To whoever did that. I didn't do it. I was so confused. Naturally.
perfect, Watson. Within a margin of 1 year, Watson, the age of our murderer is 33 years.
But the
That's
man
so
described
irrelevant.
by Smith was dressed respectably, whereas the other 2 were poorly dressed.
Indeed, but Whitechapel's respectively could quite easily describe the Sunday bests that all lower-class men own. Now, let's place ourselves in the shoes of Liz Stride's killer. He has just slain his victim and sees Louis Diemschutz discover her body. Our killer is at great risk if he stays in the area. He therefore gets away from this spot. But he wants to kill again. However, he might have been spotted in the area before having committed the murder by a constable on his round, perhaps, who managed to get his description. What do you think the killer will do?
I failed this test. I failed this test every time. I said, I was such a great student. I said, yeah, not when I'm tired. Not when I'm tired. What will Jack the Ripper do after committing the first murder in Duffield's Yard and before committing the second in Mitre Square? Find an accomplice. No. Flee, buy disguise, wait a while on the premises, throw his clothing, return home. He's gonna wait a while. And nothing, it's not who he committed. He's gonna wait a while and look for another victim.
No, Watson.
What? What will he after the first murder and before committing the second? Okay, commit the second murder in his place. Wait a while on the premises and what? Wait a moment before searching for another victim?
No, that's not it.
Would he change? No, don't say escape without being recognized. Wait on a while on the premises and wait. What the heck? Oh, wait, no, he left. He left Duffield Yard. Okay, why would he wait there? Pay attention, Marissa. He would flee.
No, Watson.
Yes, he would. He would flee and look for
No,
another
Watson.
victim. Yes, he would. What would he do after committing the first murder and before committing? He would flee. I don't think he would buy a disguise because it takes 20 minutes. It takes 20 minutes to get to from that one murder to the other one. Maybe he would throw his clothing in a sewer or trash bin and get another one. That would be smart.
Throw his clothes in a sewer or a trash bin and head off to find another victim.
It's hard to
Exactly.
believe, Watson. Someone from a lower social class wouldn't throw away his clothing like that.
We know he's not lower social class. So you telling me it's wrong? Okay. I don't believe Jack the Ripper's a poor man. I don't care. I think he was somebody like that people are protecting. But anyways, I don't think he went to a home or safe location. He wouldn't buy a disguise if he's broke. This man is so funny. It can't be buy a
No,
disguise.
No, that's not it. No, Watson.
Why did Watson said something for this
No,
option.
Watson.
Throw his clothes in a sewer or a trash bin and head off to find another victim.
It's hard to believe, Watson.
It's hard to believe, so it's not correct.
No, that's not it.
Go back home or to a safe location, change his clothes and leave again in search of another victim.
In the span of 20 minutes?
It's the only possible explanation, Watson.
No, it's
The
not.
man returned to the safety of his lodgings and then decided to go out again with new clothes and repeat his sinister nocturnal
Now when we saw
work.
how dark it
That's how
was.
the discrepancies between the witnesses with regards to clothing can be explained.
But that part
What
does
a
make sense.
cold-blooded animal.
And what determination! Powerful motives are pushing this man. Thus, we can conclude that the respectable man with the package may very well have been seen by the two Josephs.
Even if it is just a mannequin, it's giving me goosebumps. But have we really made any progress, Holmes? I mean, there must be thousands of men in Whitechapel who match this description, wouldn't you say?
You're right, Watson. We have worked on who, now let's work on where. We need a map of Whitechapel, and please also find me a pencil, 2 compasses, one of which can draw ellipses.
Compass and 2 pencils. I There's not even any way I could really be right, because it's all theories. It's all theories. I just hate that the theories in this game piss me off. I'm gonna have a short stream today because I'm losing it. I'm hungry and I'm not even paying attention. And you know, you deserve better. You deserve better. Okay. You don't need me berating this game. This game that I love. I need to find 2 compasses and some pencils. And they're losing me with all the geometry of it all. The geometry and the algebra and the use of a calculator. I don't want to do this. That's not who I am. What did you need, Sherlock? Here. 2 pencils and a compass thing.
We'll need a map, Watson.
And a map that you're standing right behind. He's so rude. It's not the right map. It doesn't matter. He's so rude to me. He's not rude. What am I saying? He just expects me to do everything. But Watson loves it. Let me not start drama between them two. They love this dynamic. This works for them. Here's a map,
I am
Sherlock.
in need of something.
First of all, let's place our 4 murders on this map, as well as the spot where the graffito appeared, and the piece of apron was dropped.
Oh, he wants to know. Annie was the first murder. I don't remember where she was murdered. Not Duffield's. Golston? I thought she was murdered in this place. Bucks Row. That's right, there she was. Elizabeth Stride, Liz. That's Duffields, right? Polly Nichols. I don't remember you. Golston. Oh, excuse me. And then Catherine was murdered at Meter. And who is this? Graffito. What the heck is Graffito? 29 Hanbury Street? Wait. Oh, wait, no, wait. Is that where the... I think this is where she was murdered. And this is where the graffiti was, right? This is so like FBI. This is what they do. They map out a possible place where the killer will live. His safety zone. You know, where he commits all his murders, and then using math and geometry, he will live right in the center of that. If I can get the order of where people died and whatever correct. Is this where we saw the graffiti? Liz Stride. Maybe I got these mixed. She was our first victim. Catherine was murdered. Did I get Catherine? I feel like Catherine was murdered in Mitre Square. Can't stand this, dude. We can't use any of our tools yet. Oh wait, I can. What is this, an eraser? I can only use the eraser? Place the graffito on the map. Place the 4 murderers on the map. Wow, really? Okay. Where did we find the graffiti at? What street was that at? Mitre Square. So that's where Catherine was, like I said. Message was written by the killer. Where? On Galston Street. That's what I said originally, and it didn't do anything. Some combination I have is wrong.
Perfect, Watson. Let's connect each crime scene to the one out of the others that is the furthest.
Let's connect crime scenes to the one that's the furthest. Annie Chapman was killed at Hanbury Street. Polly Nichols was our first one. I don't know what he's saying. Let's do what? This is good. This is the furthest, right? I need, like, they're making this difficult for me in the sense that I'm not really good at paying attention to anyone talking right now. I'm drifting in and out of consciousness. If I could just repeat what he said, I feel like I would be okay. I need him to tell me what he said again. Join each murder location to the one that is furthest. Okay. See? That's all I needed to hear. Okay. I can do this. So this is the farthest murder location. And I'm so glad I'm an artist, dude. This is not a murder location, but does it count? So maybe this one is the furthest then. I just assumed that this is, but actually I think statistically, geometrically, I don't know. This is the furthest. Okay, hold on. Let me get my... If I erase it, it's not going to reset the whole thing, is it? I'm not even going to risk that. I'm not even going to risk that. Okay, so this one's actually the farthest. Polly. Does this count? It's not a murder location, though. Still not correct? How was it wrong? Join each murder location to the one that is furthest. I mean, I don't have a ruler. This looks farther. The farthest. Is it not? This is not it either. I'm about to pass out. This is not it. I just feel like sometimes am I misunderstanding directions? It says connect 2 victims that are far from each other. That's what I feel like I did do. I feel like I did do that though. Like 2 victims that are far from each other. Connect to 2 victims that are far from each other. Okay, wait. 2 victims. 2 victims that are far from each other. They're really far from each other. Right? And then are these 2 really far?
You see, Watson, the murders aren't grouped together, but seem to be spread out like cardinal points around a central zone. The killer obviously wanted to avoid returning to the previous scenes of his crimes, assuming that they would be more closely watched, or that he could be recognized.
So the killer lives at the centre of this cross?
In the vicinity, most certainly, but how near? We cannot afford to get it wrong. If you concentrate, Watson, you will notice that the murders are roughly equidistant from the intersection point of the diagonals. Let's focus on the night of the double murder. Remember, Watson, it took us 20 minutes to get from Dutfield's Yards to Mitre Square. Let's draw a line from one to the other.
Wait, I understood that part. From Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square. By the way, I gave myself a hint, and I didn't look up anything else after that.
Perfect. We didn't make the trip as the crow flies, but that would not harm our estimate. Let's suppose the killer left Dutfield's Yard at 1 a.m. and arrived in Mitre Square at 1:35 a.m. when he was seen by the two Josephs. If he took 5 minutes to change his clothes, that leaves a range of 10 minutes to determine where this man's lodgings are. We must determine the area in which one can go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. To do this, let's draw an ellipsis. The length between Dutfield's Yard and Mitre Square corresponds to 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh,
By
this is
adding
math.
half, we get a distance of 30 minutes. By taking the two right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes, and which the sum of the lengths makes 30 minutes, we get our ellipses.
I'm literally going to die. Okay? I'm dying. I'm dying. I am so tired. My sleep schedule is jacked right now. Today was the first time I woke up before 10 a.m. in the morning in like 9 months. I don't know, long time. And previously, I only had slept for 4.5 hours about, for the dumbest reason imaginable. I am barely hanging on. And I'm also hungry. I'm shocked, honestly. I have been more tired streaming lately, but I made a mistake of not eat. I like to eat as much as possible before I stream. Rip to your sleep schedule. Yes, rest in peace to it. May it ever exist again. May it ever be a thing. I just wanted to sleep for 8 hours one time. It's the weekend. I'm sleeping in because the construction people are not gonna be here. Woo! And on top of that, they're having me do math on an empty brain and an empty stomach. Unheard of. Unheard of. He talking about ellipses, making circles. One line means 20 minutes, something 30 minutes. I have no idea what this man's talking about. He has the wrong person for the job. I'm not the one. You really had to go to school to play this game. Respect to those people. I don't even know how to use this tool. Oh, heck no. No, 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 no. I do not know how to use this tool. This is traumatic, actually. I told you, I'm not good at math. I don't even care. I'm not going to say I'll never be, but I'm never going to try to learn. I don't want to. I have no desire to be good at this. Zero desire. These posters are something else. Yes, they are. I use math for my job, but not like this. What is this? This is like if I'm an architect. I would never do this. I'm an engineer. I'm designing the layout of a street. Respect to those people. Oops. These puzzles are something else. Must be Sherlock himself to do these puzzles. You got to be. Sherlock actually wrote this game. The real Sherlock. Okay. Let me see what he said. I am so impressed by people who have mathematic brains. I love it. I think it's great. I'm not that. Like, let me be me. Let me be good at something else. I don't mind. Like, I'd rather, who cares? Who cares? Trace an ellipse in which we can go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. Okay, trace an ellipse which will go Dutfield's Yard. So we gotta go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than an hour, and I need to trace this. Right? Right? No? Close? Close? No? Let's try again. My worst nightmares from school is like, oh, I feel so bad for people. People who try to teach me, like my teachers, like I say it's hard. This is the most embarrassing thing in my life. I am not shy about not knowing things, right? My issue comes when I'm trying to be taught. So like my teachers would come and they'd be like, and break it down, and they're like, oh, you get it now, right? Do you understand this step? You know, like, and it's so frustrating because I can barely keep focus to what they are saying. I don't know how I need to be taught, but it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, it's only math, because I'm great at everything else. This is how I feel about myself. But math, it's so hard to pay attention, like to learn that language. my brain protects itself. It'll just block it out every time it comes out. It will just completely shut off. It's so true. All right, where's this tool? Gotta connect these together. It's so hard to use this because I don't know how to. Numbers are. Aren't you, Kennedy? I actually don't know about your math history, but I know you made it past algebra. I know. Didn't you make it to like calculus or something? I don't feel like we're in the same room for this conversation. I have to say, I don't feel like we're sitting in the same chairs. I'm gonna get this. I'm guessing how to do this, and I'm spending time doing it, and I might not even be correct. I did the bare minimum, then I quit. You made it, though. That's what matters. Is that you made it. Okay? Okay? Okay, this is what I think, right? Is this right, Sherlock? It's not correct. It's not correct? Because he didn't say anything. That's not a good sign. That's what I was trying to do this whole time. So, trace an ellipses in which we can get from Dutville's yard to my scrum. Less than half an hour. Maybe it has to be smaller than this? It has to be smaller? I don't understand this. Fortunately, I don't have much of an ego when it comes to stuff like this. I don't feel like you have to, one individual has to be good at everything. Well, like, what's the point? Let somebody else shine. I love giving people credit where it's due. This isn't me. This isn't my fight. I just want to be like, good job, good job, Watson. Good job, Watson. We can see that, blah, blah, blah. Da-da, 20 minutes. That's all I want him to say to me. I'm literally just guessing. Because I do believe in trying a little bit. A little bit. No? Not less than 20 minutes? Sherlock. I mean, I like, legitimately, you have to have some kind of pre-knowledge to play this game. You need some pre-knowledge to play this. I don't have it. I would never, I would have still played this game. You know, it's not as hard as Indiana Jones, honestly. That was such a hard game in a completely different cerebral, brain-breaking way. Indiana Jones is crazy. This is like, I'm reliving everything in my head from people who hurt me using like intelligence or something like this to be like, you don't know this. One person, I was working at Little Caesars. I'll never forget. I never forget these things, and I should, because I feel like that'd be healthier. But these things, I just feel like you're the worst type of person if you did this. They wanted me to count their change back, which is not necessarily a requirement, but people suggest that you learn how to do that. I had never understood it. I couldn't do it for the person. And they're like, you don't know how to count change back? No, I don't. I'm working at Little Caesars. Not that means anything. I don't think that means anything at all. But that wasn't what I could do. And then one guy, this is unrelated, but I'll never forget. One guy once got frustrated with me because I couldn't find north at the beach. Listen, I understand that the sun sets in the west, right? Is that where it sets? Right? It sets in the west. And I'm not like, when you grow up a certain way, those things don't become like stuff you know? I feel like not everybody has like this kind of sense. I don't think about that. I don't think about where north is. Not that I shouldn't, but I just feel like, why does it have to be an insult that I don't know that off the top of my head? You know? I would never make fun of somebody because they didn't know something. Teach them. Teaching could be a bonding experience, but not degrading somebody because they don't know where north is at the beach. I know where it is now. But I never forget that. I never forget how you made me feel when you did that to me. It was so condescending. Okay. I'm so sorry. I keep blacking out. And forgetting I'm doing this game. I'm gonna cheat. I am gonna cheat, indeed. Of course. Because I have no shame. Using the compass. Oh, okay, look at this. It says, I was pretty close. How come it didn't work? I kind of did this too. Green line. Extend the line out to have 2 places as the ends. I feel like I did this. Yeah, it is definitely a superiority complex. Absolutely. And it's funny because intelligence can be attractive, but not in these kind of people. Like, this is an insecure person. Like, you want to be smarter than me? That boosts your ego to be smarter than me? Not saying I'm dumb, because I'm not dumb. But it's just like, you assume I'm unintelligent because of how I talk and my mannerisms. And you want to doubled down on that by not by blah. Do you see how like coherent I am? I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I think actually it's rooted in racism, and I'm not gonna say the ethnicity of this person, but you could probably guess. You can probably guess. Okay. But also, it's, honestly, it's mostly men who have treated me like this. Men. No, no, not all men. Not all of them. Like one time I was in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii on vacation, minding my own business. And like, I was in the middle of college, just having a good life. And I met this one guy on the beach. Several people, all at once. We were all like, we're just on the beach. And I remember I had just finished swimming with sharks and puking the entire time because I discovered that I get seasick. And I'm just trying to be on the beach and regain consciousness. And this man's talking about like we found out I went to college and like, oh, what did I go to school for and why? And he tried to get really like existential and just philosophical on me about like, ooh, like the importance of education and blah. And I was not into it. Like I so even if I agree, I don't know what like I rebel when people talk to me like this because it's so I don't know how to express myself. I don't know how to express myself. I'm just ranting and raving. It's just there's it's like what you said. It's a superiority complex. That I don't know if he was actually being that way, but that's the vibe I got. Like not everything has to be this deep, meaningful thing, especially not concerning the public school system. You know, like oh, American education is not peak anyways. I'm not gonna be inspired by that. I picked a major that I was genuinely interested in, but that I could graduate as fast as possible because I realized I don't need to be in school. The library is true education. Human experience, that's where it's at. It's so limited what you can learn in school. It's not fulfilling at all. Mister, I'm tired. Okay. It's like box thinking. I can't believe I'm talking right now. I gotta shut up, dude. I need to get off the internet. Especially a stranger. Like, yeah, no. I unfortunately, for whatever reason, this is to me, this is just a sign of insecurity, and I attract these type of human beings. Like they have something to prove, and they gotta tell me, the stranger on the bus. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm validating them, except for maybe I just like smile and nod. But I do attract people who have like this like they have to have something to feel good about themselves. And let me tell you something. True value is just here in your heart, just being alive. Like you don't actually have to do anything to have value as a human being. And that's why people get caught up. You don't have to be textbook smart. You don't have to be street smart. You don't have to, you know, be super athletic or whatever. You have to do nothing. Just be alive. You know what I mean? That's how I view life. That I feel like that beats all insecurity. You're done. You're done. Like I'm trying to be done playing this game right now. I cannot make a circle. I'm doing it how I'm looking at the picture. I'm cheating, by the way. And it's still not registering. This is not even really gameplay. This is just me just talking. I'm trying my best. This is how it looks in the thing. I'm about to give this game 1 star. I'm just kidding. This is a great game. This is a 10 out of 10 game. It's just really frustrating me right now. Like that can't be more perfect than that. Geometry was honestly my worst subject. For some reason, shapes and numbers is the worst couple. That's cute. I made it to geometry by the skin of my teeth. It took me 3 trips to algebra to get to geometry, which did I like geometry? I don't remember liking it. I liked statistics. That's it. Because there's words. There's a lot of words in statistics. There's a lot of learning what things mean that are words. That was my last math class. Geometry, I don't even remember being there. I know I was, but it was a blur. Dude, why? This is exactly... How is this wrong? The game has to allow for a certain margin of error, and I'm not feeling respected in this regard. I'm telling you, if I get this right and it turns out to be like just like a millimeter off, I don't know. I have no retaliation. I have no retaliation. I'll be very disappointed in this game. Some people go out with their friends. Me? I play games that make me question why I'm alive. Is this my divine purpose? Let me look up what other people did. It says you have to make the ellipses a little wider. But I did try that. I did try this actually several times to make it. How wide do we want it to be, Jack?
There we are, Watson. Our killer lives in this area.
It's still rather a vast area, Holmes.
Yes, indeed. And our goal is to reduce this area as much as we can. We must consider the fact that the murder at Mitre Square was committed under a certain amount of pressure, given that the killer knew he was wanted for the acts he committed not long before. We can assume that he had to do it in a safe zone, that is, an area not far from where he lives. This is especially true of an act such as the graffiti he carried out after 2 murders. Let's trace a circle around this point, with the distance separating it from Mitre Square as the radius. This will enable us to determine our killer's safe zone.
See, I knew about the safe zone because I watch a lot of crime shows. I'm so frustrated. Look how ugly this circle is I had to make. I just had to make it wider, super wide, super sloppy. I was trying to be thorough. Press the wrong button because it's cool. Trace a circle whose center is the location. Whose center is the location of the graffito and piece of apron, and whose circumference passes through Mitre Square. I think I can do this one. Now that I understand how broken this is, we'll be able to use this. Okay, Mitre Square is here. He said the circumference passes through it. This is the center. The circumference passes through it, right?
Our killer must surely live inside this circle. Now, let's intersect it with the ellipsis that we previously determined.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I feel like we're trapped in an empty room together with just the map on the wall. Like the beginning of Saw. Oh my gosh. If I was on a Saw trap, woo. Honestly, actually, I think I will survive. Because I'm a tinkerer. I'm crafty in that regard. If one of my puzzles was make ellipses and do geometry and do math and find the averages, I would die. I would die. I would die. Absolutely. So, but yeah, that was funny, Kennedy. I forgot what he said. What did I have to do? Click on the intersection of the 2 zones. The intersection. And determine with certitude where the Whitechapel killer lives. Click on the intersection? Oh, that was creepy.
There we are, Watson, the Aldgate district.
Shouldn't we inform the police so that they can concentrate their efforts on this area?
No, he'll just
of
leave. He'll
Whitechapel?
move, Watson.
It is probably already crawling with inspectors,
Or
Watson,
that.
and I doubt that they would take us seriously, even if they were willing to listen to what we had to say. Let's focus instead on understanding the killer's modus operandi. We know our murderer preys on prostitutes who are penniless, weak, sick, or alcoholic, that he distracts them the moment before killing them, and that he left an anonymous message inciting anti-Semitic hatred at the entrance of a building occupied by Jews. How would you describe this man?
What a coward.
Indeed, he is a person of great cowardice. Let's look at his murders, and in particular, the depredations on the corpses, putting aside that of Liz Stride, because on that occasion his work was left unfinished. If we recall the observations made on the victims and the parts that were mutilated or damaged on each of the bodies, without forgetting the fact that he also removed one or more organs, we can ascertain that our killer evolves during the course of the murders, cowardly and still evolving. And yet, look at the location of our first murder, that of Polly Nichols in Bucks Row. It is the most distant from the area our killer would appear to live. Perhaps this murder was preceded by another within the killer's area. I believe a cowardly killer would commit his first murder in an area close to his home in order to find refuge as quickly as possible on carrying out the act.
Holmes, an idea just occurred to me that fills me with dread. This evolution of which you speak.
He will pursue his next victim as long as the conditions permit him to continue killing, Watson.
But how could one go even further in this horror? Look at what he did to
you'd
that
be surprised,
woman,
Watson.
Catherine Eddowes.
In order to avoid having to answer that question, we must act with haste and planning. Watson, I suggest you inform yourself on the mutilations sustained by the victims. We played with the idea that this could be an act of vengeance against prostitutes. If the mutilations correspond to areas affected by a specific pathology, perhaps the killer wanted to give an eye for an affliction he felt the prostitutes he knew were responsible for.
And this trail leading to Dr. Tumblety Holmes?
I also have a few things to look into
They
in
said
the
Tumblety
meantime.
was
I still
5'11".
have a primary witness to
Didn't
track
they?
down, not to mention old trails I've yet to pursue. See you soon, Watson.
Bye.
When we first spoke about
Oh,
the
he's still
Bucks Row
talking.
murder
What
with
the heck?
Watson, he was reading a newspaper, The Star, dated September 1st, 1888, I believe, which mentioned
Yeah, I
similar
read that.
murders in the preceding months. I have no chance of finding the police reports, but perhaps I could find some information at the Central News Agency. I must go there at once. Afterwards, I'll go back to see Abraham, the owner of the pet shop in Whitechapel. The second Joseph's statement would lead me to believe that he may know the man spotted on the corner of Church Passage that night. If that's the case, I must find this witness so I can question him.
Alright. I'm so sorry to have tortured you into watching that. Not my best moment. Not my best moment. Okay? I thought I might be in a bad mood, but I was just in a tired mood. So, lots of nothing happening. I mean, we did make progress. We're getting close to this at the end of this game. I can feel it. But brain was on the negatives. On it, under it, in it. Not cohesive. I didn't think I was going to be this affected. But maybe because the puzzles were way more work mentally that I was willing to do. So there's that. But we press on. We made it. We made it. I hope I never have to do that again. I know I don't. I can't believe how long it's taking me to finish this game, but I am reading everything. I am. We made it through geometry class. That's a win for me. We made it through a lot of different classes tonight. So that's a win for me as well.